What's up, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Wizards Latest. I'm your host and DC sports fan, Ben Robertson, and on this page, we break down all the biggest headlines surrounding the Washington Wizards. So make sure you like and subscribe down below. Drop your comments with any thoughts you might have on the video. As always, guys, I appreciate all of the support. Let's keep it rolling here on the page. And today, I want to talk about the latest Chris Middleton rumors. Then I want to chat about why I think this roster is improved and the win total might just slightly increase next season. Then we'll chat about, does Will Dawkins ever miss in the draft? And lastly, why it's clear what type of players Will Dawkins is looking for. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Remember, videos dropping here on the page Monday through Friday. Chris Middleton was traded to DC back in February. Remember that deal sent Kyle Kuzma to Milwaukee, also brought AJ Johnson here to the team. Middleton, not really the focus of the deal for Washington, but it allowed Milwaukee to get off of his contract. Middleton's played 13 NBA seasons now, coming out of Texas A&M. Remember, spent his first year in Detroit before being traded to the Bucks, and is going to be 34 this month. Injuries starting to take a toll now, as they do over the last couple years of his career, but still has a $33 million salary for next season. Now, that contract does expire after this year, and kind of part of the reason why the Wizards were willing to take it on. Washington, of course, sort of has two players in this similar situation, 30 plus years old with 30 plus $1 million contracts, and that's Middleton and CJ McCollum. Right now, it's looking like Middleton is the guy more likely to be moved before the start of the year, and McCollum, out of those two, is looking like he's the one more likely to remain on the roster for opening night. I just think part of that, remember, CJ McCollum coming off a 21 point per game season where he played 56 games on the year. It was his 11th straight season averaging more than 20 points in the NBA. For Middleton, averaged just under 11 points per game in 14 games with the Wizards last year on really tough shooting splits. I just think that McCollum is maybe more likely to increase his trade value with really strong early season performances. And that's why I think he's going to be the one more likely to remain on the roster if one of them is moved. And right now, it's just kind of looking like Middleton might be, headed towards a contract buyout if Washington can't find a trade partner for him. And, I can't imagine that trade value is going to raise or, be increased all that much before the start of the year. And again, that's kind of why it looks like that's where things are heading. Last note there, it's crazy that CJ McCollum has never made an all-star team, with all the success he's had in the league. But overall, with the roster, and part of why I think, Middleton may be moved because I just think there's some depth here and some improvement from the team that we saw last year. In yesterday's video, I discussed sort of the DraftKings win total I saw for the team. Right now, it's set at 20 and a half wins. At least when I checked DraftKings, that's the over under right now for Washington. I think I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into maybe predictions, potentially next week on the page, and then again maybe a month or so out up in September with this team and going into next season. But for me, it's hard to believe they're going to win less than 20 games. To be honest, they won 18 last year, and I just think unless it's just a full tank mode type situation, I just think the roster has improved and gotten deeper. If you look at the game one starting lineup against the Celtics last season, it was Jordan Poole, Bub Carrington, Kyle Kuzma, Bilal Coulibaly, and Alex Sarr. Replacing Poole and Kuzma with a combination of Trey Johnson, CJ McCollum, and Cam Whitmore. To me, those are improvements, especially if Cam Whitmore plays up to kind of what his potential is. Off the bench, you have one of the three I just named, plus Keyshawn George, Corey Kispert, AJ Johnson, Justin Champagnie, Will Riley. Um, I mean, the big weakness of the roster sort of remains to be rebounding and kind of big man depth. But in which, honestly, if you are going full tank mode, sort of bodes well. I'm not saying this is the most talented or the best roster in the league, But I am saying it, there's a lot of options right there and a lot of depth and a lot of just different pieces you can kind of pick from and choose from and to make a different combination out there on the court. Next thing I want to chat about here today, and, part of the reason the roster, I think, has improved is because of what Will Dawkins has been able to do. Not just this offseason being very active, but also just with great, draft picks, to be quite honest. And three draft from Dawkins so far. Let's look at 2023 and sort of the results from that. You get Bilal Coulibaly and Tristan Vukcevic out of that draft. Jarris Walker was the official first round pick. Obviously, traded for Bilal, who most of us kind of love as a prospect, and you find Vuk as in the second round, move up a year to 2024 with Sar, Bub, and Keyshawn George, added an extra first round pick in that draft to get a third first round pick, I should say. All three of those players starting to look like they're going to be part of the future core here in DC. And maybe the biggest questions there are about Alex Sarr, to be quite honest, just because of where he was drafted at number 2 overall. And then move forward again another year to 2025. Trey Johnson, Will Riley, Jameer Watkins all look like they're going to be future contributors to this squad and all had either flashes or just, straight up really, really good performances in Summer League. 3 years, three draft, three really good results. I think I'll take that. And again, why so many of us believe in Will Dawkins and where this team is heading, and we will keep saying it. Last thing really today, and kind of, extending that conversation really I just had, I think it's clear what Will Dawkins is looking for. Versatile players at both ends of the court. Defensively, guys that can switch and guard multiple positions, have length, have size. And then offensively, I think you see that as well. Think about guys like Keyshawn George, Will Riley, have size and length, but also can handle the basketball a little bit and create for themselves. Part of what Will Dawkins has talked about offensively is just not just things running through one player and having different players that you can sort of run the offense through and can bring the ball up and you can get touches for you in that regard. And that's the route of the modern NBA, again at both ends of the court. Will Dawkins steering right into it. We'll keep you posted on all the moves he makes right here on the page, so make sure you like and subscribe to Wizards Latest. Drop your comments down in that comment section. I'll try to interact with you just a little bit. Again, guys, I appreciate all of the support here on the page. Let's keep it rolling. Enjoy your weekends, and thanks for watching another episode of Wizards Latest.